Anyway, speaking of long stories, it's been a long story that Bill Belichick's been writing in New England. And really interesting report. I believe friend of the pod, Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston. Awesome dude who's been covering the Patriots for a long time. It does great work. He's I think one of like the low-key funniest writers of any like beat writer out there. Tom, in the segment that they showed on NBC Sports Boston, he's like, it'd be kind of like, it's like Tommy DeVito's a caricature of New York. Like Tom Curran's, has very distinct Boston qualities about him. He's like, it'd be kind of like, he's like, if you could piss up a rope, and he's like, just to use piss for the second time in this segment, which is very Bostonian of him to use piss on like the local like sports broadcast twice in a 3-minute segment. Anyway, here is quickly a clip of Tom reacting to Robert Kraft appearing on College Game Day and discussing Bill Belichick.
When they came out of Germany, conversations I had that week made it very clear that a decision was made and they were going to play out the string. And at the end of the year, there would be a parting of the way.
So basically, if you didn't see it, Robert Kraft appeared on College Game Day and Pat McAfee was like, they're all asking questions. And then McAfee at the end, as they're going to commercial break, is like, we don't envy you. We know what's happening. We know what you got to do. And then they just like went to commercial. It's like no chance to like for Bob Kraft to say anything. So it's a weird situation. People started talking about it as if, okay, Bob Kraft hasn't used any of these opportunities to counter what has being thrown out there and being discussed about Bill Belichick's future.
Yeah.
And so Tom Curran reports, as you just heard, that after that Germany game, remember, Ben Volany reported that going into the Germany game, Belichick might be done midseason, but coming out of that Kraft basically made up his mind and no amount of winning will change anything. Bill Belichick, of course, got asked about this week, and here's what he had to say.
Of all the rumors, do you want to keep
Yeah, I'm getting ready for Kansas City.
Bill, while understanding that you're getting ready for Kansas City, have you and Robert discussed your future beyond this season?
Getting ready for Kansas City.
On to Kansas City, basically.
Hey, Will, I missed that. Can you redo and go take us through all of what we just did there?
Look, Harry, clip the video. I'm trying to set it up as a way of discussing. What do you think? I know you are. I know you're. Great job by Harry to clip those.
No, Harry did a great job. It was more of you and like the long-winded story to finally get to like where we needed to get to. So
I'm getting my talking in now. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to sit back and drink my Celsius. I'm going to sit back and drink my Celsius energy drink after I ask you, Brady, what happens with Bill Belichick at the end of the season? Is he done?
I'm going to pound a Celsius as soon as the show is over. I can promise you that. Great question. Do you guys kind of feel like, remember the report first came out that maybe Belichick had a job lined up already next year? There were some feelers and whatnot. Like,
correct. Yeah.
I almost feel like it was one of those deals where it's like, you're in high school and it's like, well, I don't know. I'm thinking, hey, Leger, I'm thinking about, breaking up with so-and-so. And all of a sudden you tell someone else and it gets around and someone's like, well, no, like I'm like, wait a second. And like next thing I hear, it's like, no, they're breaking up with me. Like, I feel like obviously the season and where things have gone since Tom Brady left have led us to this point. But I also feel like there's some suitors. They're not going to fire him. They have to trade him. They have to work together probably to make that trade happen. So, look, we know the end is coming. Like, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't think, though, it's another freight train about ready to run us over. Like, I think it's a new beginning probably for Bill Belichick, whether it's with the Chargers or you've heard rumors of like Tampa Bay, some of those other organizations that are looking for a guy like Bill Belichick who's won as many Super Bowls as he has as a head coach and as an assistant.
Yeah, if you look at this scenario, it'll be interesting because you brought up a great point, Brady. Is this a scenario where we potentially get a trade, right, for Bill Belichick? There's a team that you didn't mention where we know the owner has got a handprint on football decisions, and it's where Will lives, right, in Carolina. Sure. Dave Tepper. Like, I've heard rumors, supposedly, he's a guy that likes to get a shiny name in the building. There's rumors supposedly that Bill Belichick could be a guy he's eyeing to be the head coach for the Carolina Panthers. Now, again, we talked about this last week, Brady. Are we comfortable with Bill Belichick if he was to stay with the Patriots grooming a new young quarterback. Well, they have a young quarterback that has had some struggles in Carolina. Are you comfortable bringing Bill Belichick over there? Depending on the staff, we know Josh McDaniels is probably going to be a guy that he maybe could eye if he does go to Carolina. We saw him have success with Mac Jones his rookie year. The thing is, you have a quarterback that's going to be there for the next 3, probably 4 years. Do you trust Bill Belichick to groom him to be the franchise guy is the only question there. So I think we saw the writing on the wall when it comes to Bill Belichick. If you look at his record just at New England without Tom Brady, right? Believe it's 46-55, something like that, under 500, has struggled, without Brady being there. And usually, Brady, we know this, teams usually don't last that long with one head coach. So he's had a heck of a run there. Sometimes it's just time to move on. I think the Patriot way is not what it used to be anymore. It's time for them to kind of restart with that franchise and bring in some new blood.
Brady, I got 2 questions, 2 follow-ups for you. I'm curious. One, can Bill Belichick drag Dante Scarnecchia out of retirement and bring him to Carolina? Because if he can, I don't know. Like Scarnecchia kind of underrated in terms of like the downfall in New England. And then 2,
the O-line's been their biggest issue
in Carolina.
Oh, no, he's saying Carolina. Yeah, he's saying bring him to Carolina, not New England. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know that, I'm saying like
the quarterback is the issue. The offense is the issue. Quarterback's the issue. But I'm wondering, there was some talk of a quote-unquote de facto trade of Bill Belichick, basically like the Patriots being willing to take way less than what you would normally get for a coach of Belichick's caliber in order to facilitate a trade that means you never actually have to fire Bill Belichick. I'm curious if you think that's a possibility. And also, is David Tepper more or less likely to give Belichick personnel control in Carolina?
God, I hope not.
It's a great question, especially considering personnel has been the issue with this roster since Tom Brady hasn't been there anymore. And even when he was there, that's probably part of the issue too.
For sure.
So, look, I think there's also got to be some hesitation from Bill Belichick, from an owner that you've watched rip the rug out from underneath Matt Rule, and now, looking at Coach Reich in the first year. So maybe he doesn't want to have to deal with an owner who's, overly involved to that capacity. Look, it's Bill Belichick. He's won, multiple Super Bowls, been to so many, brought the sort of success that the New England Patriots and Robert Kraft could have never experienced without him. So he's not firing him. I'm sorry. Like you can say I'm dumb, call me whatever you think. He's not getting fired. They're going to trade him. They will say they went their separate ways. It's not going to be a bad breakup, I don't think, by the end of it. There's just too much history there. There's too much success there. And I think there's probably too much in the end to be thankful for that Bill Belichick really brought to this organization, especially considering the valuation of that franchise and how much more they've won and gained over the past 2 decades. So I don't see it happening. Maybe there's some sort of trade so they don't have to do that, to your point, Will, but I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me whatever you want. Bill Belichick.
Do you think it gets to a point maybe where what if they can't trade him, Brady, and Robert Kraft goes to Bill?
They'll say they agree to go their separate ways.
But that's what. But what if Bill says I'm not going anywhere? You got to fire me, because that was a rumor too earlier this offseason.
It's not you. It's me. It's the whole cycle. It's not
there was an interesting, and Curran mentioned this too. It's like, so Ian Rappaport had come out a few weeks ago, maybe like a month and a half ago, randomly on a Sunday morning. It was like, Bill Belichick just signed a lucrative long-term extension. It was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. The Patriots suck. And it's like, he's like, sign this offseason. Curran noted on this same broadcast that it's actually only through 2024. So you really only have 1 year of a buyout with Belichick. And you're talking what, like $30 million? That's a lot of money, but you could easily.
Is that how much is being paid?
I was going to say, is it that high?
I would be shocked if it's anything. I would be shocked if it's anything less than that. Sean Payton gets 20 plus.
You think Bill's getting 15 a year?
15 a year? Bill makes Bill. Nobody knows what Bill makes. That's how high it is. I think it's like 30 million a year.
Really?
Dude, Sean Payton makes 20 something from the Broncos.
Yeah, but the Patriot way, they've always taken less money.
Hey, Will, how do you know this?
I don't.
How do you know this, Will?
Yeah, Will's got an inside man.
Because I got a
particular set of skills.
No, I mean, do you think Belichick does not make less than $20 million a year?
I don't know what he
And-
makes. None of it's public knowledge. Like everyone can look up.
Nobody
what
even knew
players
he had
make.
an extension or addendum to his contract until that came out. Somebody said it was signed in the offseason. We didn't find out about it until midway through the season.
And
So
the Patriot way, where you take less, doesn't apply to coaches because there's no salary cap for the coaches. Like that's
true.
just Robert Kraft is printing money off the Patriots, and paying Bill Belichick $30 million a year ain't like is kind of a drop in the bucket relative to what they make. So I would be surprised if it's less than $30 million a year. I think Belichick would probably take a buyout at $15 million, and as long as there's no like offset, basically and go
making
coach
more
wherever.
than every player on that team.
Yeah, there's no salary cap.
That's the
You're
other
muted,
thing,
Brady.
though. So if you do trade him, it's not hitting their cap. You're just giving up draft capital in exchange for whatever that contract looks like. But
Correct.
you'd think that he would want an extension in order to go there. But whatever. We should move on. Like I said, I just this isn't to me the most topical thing right
All right,
now.
they're saying $20 million for Belichick. So NBC Sport as Belichick at 20.
I was
and
about to
Peyton
say
at
30.
18.
Will, that's crazy.
I love when Will gets so excited he can't even get the words out. Like he's running. His mind's running so fast. He's like, Dude,
Celsius.
I cannot wait to
Like
have one.
30
As soon as we
mil.
get off
Good
this.
Lord.
Right.